Hey guys, welcome back to Tough Crit, where this week we're talking subclasses. Specifically, which one is your favorite? And, I know that we probably haven't played all 117 subclasses, but we have played a few. We do have some favorites. We're going to go down the list. I'll start us off. My 5 spot is Eloquence Bard. And stick with me here. Stick with me. I know Bard. Some people love and hate the Bard class in general, but the Eloquence Bard specifically gives me power to do what I do best, which is run my mouth. I feel like a powerful Bard in general it's just a cheat code for the game. You can just do whatever you want, say whatever you want, and get away with it. And then at level 3, no matter what you roll on Persuasion or Deception, it's always a 10. So you can basically talk your way through any situation. And then, I'm not going to go through the entire subclass, but you get things like to support your party, like Sleep of Rest, and then of course you get Magical Inspiration. So that's my number 5 spot. What do you guys think?
Solid spot.
I like it.
Yeah, bards in general.
I like the ring your mouth part. Sounds very accurate.
That's definitely right.
Yeah, maybe our next campaign I should be a bard, just so I can. A bard. How funny would it be if I played a bard named Rick, and it was just me? I'm just playing myself.
We would just pick on that character.
No bardic inspiration for you. How about that?
Yeah, I feel that coming my way.
Okay, John, what's your number 5?
Okay, so number 5 was a little bit hard for me. Like my top 4, I just knew easily, but I've really struggled between the Armored Artificer, because who doesn't want to be Iron Man? But then you have the Circle of Spores Druid. So cool thing about them is it's a druid, but mushrooms, and you basically can raise dead as a reaction. Can't be counterspelled, and they're just there, so you just have it. You also have extra options for doing poison damage, for just your regular abilities, and have an alternate form of wild shape. So it gives you a couple extra different things. It rethemes it entirely from being that whole everything is life to undeath is also a kind of life, so it's kind of good, just don't go lich route. And it kind of just brings a whole different level to the story. Cool. So that's why I really kind of like that.
The only experience I have with Circle of Spore is when I respec Jaheira in Baldur's Gate 3. I wanted her. I was already playing a druid, so I was like, well, I want her in my party. How can she support me? So I made her Circle of Spore, and yes, it is so much fun. I feel like it's an extra level of disrespect to raise your enemy's minions to fight for you.
Yeah, it's great. It's so much fun. And then you can also just throw spores at people on top of everything else.
That's cool.
They're just there.
That's a pretty cool feature as well, raising the dead. The not being able to be counterspelled is intense as well, because counterspell can play such a big factor in a battle and change the whole
definitely
encounter.
Yeah.
So with my top 5, my number 1 pick was easiest for me, obviously, and we'll get to there eventually. But my 5th pick was the Monk, the Way of the Open Hand. So this kind of brings me back to just straight up martial arts, the basics, and a little bit of Goku in a way, because monks are just badass without weapons or anything. So this monk can, every time he attacks you and uses a flurry of blows, he can possibly knock you prone, could knock you 15 feet away, or could cause you to not take any reactions until the next turn. So that really can stop an opponent in their tracks if they have no reactions. They can't counterspell, they can't opportunity attack. Great. Then even at a higher level, the monk can essentially one-shot you potentially with a move called the Quivering Palm, where if you fail a Constitution saving throw, you get knocked to 0 hit points.
Wow.
The end. If you succeed, you take 10d10 necrotic damage. So it's essentially like Kill Bill's 5-point heart technique.
Oh yeah.
No, that's the 1-inch punch. Bruce Lee.
You know how many times I've practiced that move, and it just never got any better. It just hurts. It just hurts.
You gotta do it like 1,000 times.
Yeah. 1-inch punch takes a lot of training.
Oh
right.
man.
Yeah.
That's cool though.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And the year goals, everybody got to do the 1-inch punch on video. And see who could break the wood first.
No, Way of the Open Palm Monk is super cool. I mean, obviously, the first thing I think of is like a young Goku before he got as OP as he is. Just like a young guy competing in a martial arts tournament and just destroying everyone. I mean, he's got those hands. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Like same.
Pretty much. Yeah. That's exactly what I was kind of going for too. That young Dragon Ball Goku versus Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah,
where
Dragon Ball
it's
Z,
like
Dragon Ball Super, or you know what? Actually, a better one would probably be Rocket League.
Man.
That's probably the best.
Yeah. Yeah, the Rocket League is a good comparison too.
Dude,
but can't disrespect Goku. No.
Yeah, straight up open hand fight going against Gara is like a perfect example of
one of the best fights.
Yeah, way of open hand versus like.
Tell us in the comments if you can think of a better,
some sort of wizard.
Way of the Open Monk anime character, or just I guess character in general from fiction. Let us know.
Or even
your favorite fight. That's good. My number 4 spot is Ancestral Guardian Barbarian. I mean, come on. I mean, think about it. You know, you're fighting, and then your ancestors. So first of all, picture this. This is how I picture in my head. You're just this big, bulking, huge guy, right? And so you're fighting, and then also your great-grandfather, who's also big and bulking, is a ghost, and then his great-grandfather, and everyone's just bulking, and they all have like they all look like you. I just think it's awesome. So at level 3. You get Ancestral Protectors, which is basically what I just described, which means that your ancestors have your back, and then you can just bully bosses as long as they're the only enemy. If you're only fighting one boss, you can make sure that they are attacking you and only you, and you can soak up all that damage while your party is just going after them. And I mean, I always like whenever I play Overwatch, I'm playing a tank. I usually love a tank class. And they are the ultimate tank with Spirit Shield. That means they get that at level 6, and that means their ancestors have everyone's back. And that ability gets stronger as you level up. I think just the flavor in general of it. There's so many flavor aspects of it. Of course, if you don't want it, you can just say, Ancestral Guardian, blah blah blah. Or Ancestral Protectors. But if you want to get into it, which is exactly what I want to do, I want to be like, yeah, my great grandfather. Who's somebody that my great grandfather would be? Let me just think of the widest name possible. Sir Charles the. I mean, like somebody just that would probably be lame, but my ancestor is out here just swinging. Jebediah's out here.
Wow. It's pretty cool though. I like that because that really could come into story arcs as well. Like, who are your ancestors in this universe?
You find out your ancestors, Abraham Lincoln, or somebody like that.
Yeah. Or you have like this one super cool ancestor, but this one ancestor is kind of horrible. And just straight up there. And so you have to deal with that. Yeah,
as well. The flavor behind that could be so much fun. Cool.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So for my number 4, might be slightly surprising if you know me, is the Oath of Redemption Paladins. Like, amazing class. I wish I had done that with I almost wish I'd done that with the character that we play on the table, but like the flavor text for the oath didn't really work at the time. But like starting off, you have amazing spells for it. You get Sanctuary Sleep, Counterspell, Hypnotic Pattern, Bazillion Spear. Your level 3 channel divinity, you can rebuke the violence, so you can basically, if someone does an attack near you, you can reflect it back to them as radiant damage. You can get great Aura of the Guardian. You can basically do Sentinel, where you take their damage that they would have done to someone else and take it onto yourself. Like, once you hit 15th level, you just start healing at the beginning of every turn if your health is below half. Like,
wow.
It's great. It's an amazing subclass, and then you get all of the possibilities for like your storytelling, your roleplay with pursuing either that redemption for yourself, or you're just like, I really think we shouldn't be doing violence right now, or like however you want to play it, and it just gives you so many different things. It's a ton of fun, and just mechanically, it's amazing.
Yeah, that I didn't know those that you could do all that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
You just have to be a Boy Scout the whole campaign.
You know,
That's
100 different subclasses.
Yeah, and that's kind of why. Well, like you don't have to do it like the entire campaign, but like there is a lot of that in there. So that's kind of why I didn't with that one character, just because he needed to deal with emotions first.
Yeah, no, that's cool though.
I think Paladins are really cool, and they really do have a lot of cool features, but they are stuck with like being like that, you know, especially with their auras, they're kind of stuck in that like position of making sure everybody's with me or I'm with somebody to keep them safe and all that. You can't go gallivanting on your own or whatever.
Which is perfect for it, basically.
Yeah.
My number 4 spot, which is a bigger twist for me because I don't normally play a full spellcaster, but it's the Divination Wizard, which is a full caster, but they have this, beyond the fact that they have all their wizard spells, they have this cool ability called Portents, which essentially you roll d20s at a long rest, and you're able to turn a roll into one of those rolls. So let's say I take a long rest, I roll a 20 and I roll a 1. I have those dice, and whenever I want to roll a natural 20 and I have that 20, I can make it a 20. Or if I have that 1, I could make an enemy roll a 1. So let's say we were fighting somebody and we need them to fail their save, you can use a portent as a reaction to make them roll a natural 1, and then they'll fail. And that's like awesome in situations where we're trying to stun a boss and we want that guy to be stunned. Portent, boom, make him either use up his legendary resistances, or if we're lucky and it's not big bad, make him fail and we deal with him how we have to. On top of that, when you get to higher levels, when you use higher level spells, every time you use a higher level spell, you get back one lower level spell slot.
Really?
So it's essentially like a recycling. So if I use a level 6 spell, I could potentially get a level 5 spell back.
That's OP.
Yeah, and it can never pass the spell level 5, or even the level you're casting. But it's really cool, and you get a lot of other benefits too. But I think the portents and being able to control those rolls is a really big game changer in a game of dice. So yeah, I really like this class, and I know someone who plays this class, and every time they do something, I'm like, snap, here we go. Like, I'm gonna be in trouble.
Yeah, especially if you take that.
No, you're good. I was just gonna say I have a wizard higher on my list, but I really didn't know anything about or much about the Divination Wizard. I've never seen one played before. Damn, that's cool.
Yeah, like.
I mean, every subclass has like that one thing that makes them really cool. Yeah. You know, you can't play them all.
Not yet.
You know,
eventually, maybe
get there.
We've been friends. We've been friends for what? Has it been 4 years now? 3 years? Yeah.
Years.
It's 2021.
2021, I think.
So yeah, 3 years.
roughly.
I think that in our lifetime, we probably couldn't. If we divide it all, how many classes are there? I mean, we can do it. Let's do it.
There are about 117.
We can do that. I mean, it just depends on how long the campaigns are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Divide and conquer.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody starts with a class
Yeah.
and just goes down that list.
Just keep going.
Okay.
But yeah, so just like imagine taking like a nat 1 that you roll for that divination, just be like, boss, okay, now you automatically fail this saving throw against polymorph.
That's super cool.
Fantastic.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Amazing.
super powerful. And the reason I put a wizard on my list,
Turns
a little higher on my list, anyway, is just wizards. One are just I think wizards are one of my favorite classes in general. And if you can get, and actually I say this a little bit later, like if you can get past those, first couple of levels where you're just super squishy, you are incredibly powerful. I played a wizard named Neil. And it's actually his class. His subclass is exactly what I picked for my number 2 spot. So I'll get to that a little bit later. But for now, number 3, I've got Light Domain Cleric. So basically, imagine it's basically a wizard that can heal, and they specialize in fire and light spells. So at first level, you get Warding Flare. Picture. Interposing a divine flaming light between yourself and an attacker, and that will cause them to roll at disadvantage. And then at later levels, you can use this for your party members as well. They get spells like Wall of Fire, Fireball, Scorching Ray. I mean, I don't know. I really can't wrap my head around a healer that is also like just burning everyone, but I like it. At second level, you get Radiance Dawn, which, I mean, that's a great way to dispel magical darkness. There's been several times in our game where, like, there's magical darkness and there's nothing we can do about it. But it just, there's such a usefulness there. And you get it, at second level. Radiance Dawn, boom, magical darkness gone. I think that clerics are slept on as a class. Because they feel like, I'll only be healing. I'll only be healing. But this is a class or a subclass where you can deal some serious damage while you're healing your party. So
I like clerics, and I think that's one of the things that they get pinned to. Like, if you're playing cleric, then you're the party healer. But at the same time, when you're playing a campaign, you can really be whatever you want and have fun with what your character is and not what they need to be or should be. Like, they can still heal, but it's unfair to be like, hey, no, you can't do anything else because we need you to only heal. And I feel like in our campaign, we do have kind of a designated healer, but even sometimes she'll end up doing some crazy stuff as a druid and end up wiping out a whole force of goblins with one spell, So it's like, I like that the cleric spell, some spells have like those, subclasses have those big attacks, like other wizard classes. Yeah, very cool.
Clerics, dude, like a healing wizard with armor that can also do damage. They're just amazing. All around.
Yeah, super useful to the party. I think super fun to play. And like I said, the Light Domain Cleric, I mean, fire. I mean, maybe I can picture in my head, like, you're super cold, you sit by a fire, and it energizes you. And so that's how I would probably play it. I would play like the campfire of the party, that warms the people I love, and then burns the people I hate. I don't know.
A very simple way to put it, and it worked perfectly.
Cool, John. What's your number 3?
Okay, so again, kind of going back to wizards. So I'm gonna go Chronurgy, like somewhat similar to Divination, but also like different flavor text. Like second level, you get Chronal Shift, so like twice per long rest, you can just be like, no, you need to re-roll that for literally anything. You can tell anyone to just re-roll what they're doing. You get temporal awareness at the same time, so you get to add your intelligence modifier to your initiative score. You get momentary staves, so at 6th level, you can literally just be like, you don't get to do anything. So it's kind of like hold monster for a bit. To anyone.
That's really cool.
Yeah, 14th level you can use Convergent Future. You literally decide as a reaction, like, no, this is what your role is. When, just as long as it's like the minimum to succeed, you can't be like, you get a natural 20, but like, you just kind of get that whole feature with it. It's a little overpowered, I think, but it's also just a ton of fun, and I've played one in a different campaign, and I regularly piss off the DM with him. It's a ton of fun.
It's basically
That's
time
how they
magic, right?
You know, you're doing a good job when
Yeah. Yep.
yeah. You know, you're doing a good job when you piss off your DM with how well you play.
Yep. It's not so much how well that character plays. It's more of he's just like, God dang it, anytime.
Yeah.
So
They're fun. They're fun. They're ugly.
You outsmarted me again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I know, like, they're also banned on some tables, like our table. We're not. It's one of the classes we're not allowed to play because it's not perfectly balanced. It's a little, but there's still fun.
There's still room for enjoyment. Yeah.
All right, Max, number 3.
For my number 3 is a Warlock Genie subclass. So with this Genie subclass, I think it's really cool because just like that character created, there's another entity that is involved in your story. You literally have a genie that travels around with you. So think Aladdin if you want, but a very dark universe where Aladdin goes around killing monsters. So some of the abilities the Genie Warlock has is Bottled Respite, which essentially it's the urn that the genie comes in, and you can go inside the urn and chill inside the urn for a number of hours. It gets longer as you level up, but essentially you could rest in there. And later on, you get an ability called Sanctuary Vessel, which means that if you do rest in there for 10 minutes, you get the benefits of a short rest. So essentially, it's you go in, take a 10-minute nap, you're short rested instead of an hour. And a free cat nap, exactly. Awesome. And then you can also bring other people in with you. So you could bring in the whole party, travel in an urn. So it's a really cool way to sneak into places. Put the urn on the back of a truck. Everybody gets in. 8 hours later we get out, and we're rested and we're ready to go. And nobody knew how we got in or where we came from. Another cool thing about the Genie pack is Limited Wish. So just similar like the Wish spell, except it's a lower level. It's like a 6th level Genie spell where you can cast any spell you want from any class, as long as it's 1 action casting time. So it can't be a bonus action or something that takes 10 minutes to cast. It has to be something that action. So if I want to do a fireball level 6, heal, anything like that, I can choose to do that spell. Only downside is that you have to roll a d4, and that's how many long rests you need until you can do it again. So it's not something you get back on a long rest. But it's a really cool spell because essentially you can fill in any role, healer, damage, anything you need to do in a fight. So I think one time I used a spell to speak with a god to get directions, which came in really handy because we were in the middle of the ocean. We had nowhere to go, and we were like, what are we doing? Should we just keep heading this way? And we got some clarification that our destination was in the right direction. Then it took me like 4 days for me to get that back. But it's a really cool feature. And then there's that genie aspect where if you have a really cool DM, that DM will be the genie. So it's like a lot of back and forth, and you can have like a different kind of relationship, friendly, antagonistic. It really depends. So again, that's why I like the Warlock Genie. It adds that little bit of spice, that little bit of flavor to your table, to your character, and even backstory. So that's why I like the Warlock Genie as my third
Wow,
class.
the first thing I can think of is having you and most of your party members going into the lamp, and then having your barbarian just toss it over enemy lines. And I mean that's just the way to get in, you know, to throw it through a window or something, and then you're in the secret tower. That's exactly what I would want to do with that particular feature.
You're just
I like the idea of
casted-
deception.
Yeah.
I guess. I like the idea that the barbarian, like, you know how people throw like a brick in a window and it's like you're tossing this urn and people are like, they tossed this really nice urn through the window, like it was weird, and somebody just puts it somewhere and then forgets about it, and
you're
it's
just
like,
there.
hey, cool.
Yep.
Yeah, come on later.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It just
it's very
throws
cool.
it straight into the window for the coronation room with like some evil king, and you're just all
Imagine.
The urn can
Do
be
what, Max?
destroyed.
What'd you say?
The urn. No, I was gonna say the urn can be destroyed though. It can be summoned back.
I wonder.
but it can
There's
be
probably a
destroyed.
spell
So
that you could probably
when
cast
he-
on it to make it more durable. I'm not sure. It's got to be something. At least for a limited amount of time. That would be something I would want to do. But all I'm picturing at this point is imagine if your DM played the genie as Robin Williams from Aladdin, and you named yourself Al or something.
Oh man,
Al.
would
You
love
ain't
that.
never
Love
seen a
that.
friend.
that would be amazing.
I love the Robin Williams
Yeah.
part.
But
I would love it's just a different Robin Williams, not the genie Robin Williams, just a different
Oh,
Robin
that's funny.
Williams from
Yeah.
different movies. Just a different. Every time you go in, it's a different Robin Williams. It's Robin
Yeah.
Williams from Good Will Hunting.
It's not your fault.
It's not your fault.
Hey,
it's not your
listen.
fault. And it's like,
R.I.P. Robin
you have
Williams.
psychologist Genie DM
Man.
here for you.
Can we pour one out for
Yeah.
old RW? Man, pour it
no,
out,
yeah,
brother.
that's the man.
Yeah.
Okay, and we are on to number 2. And so you guys have all had wizards. I have got a wizard now, and it's the Evocation Wizard. Maybe some people might think, oh, wow, been there, done that, seen it. But, I mean, they are super powerful. You get lots of area of effect spells. And then wizards in general, they're just really rewarding. Like I said earlier, if you can survive those weaker levels, your party, would have to support you at the beginning, but it would be like an investment because you'd be such a powerful and such a strong member of the party in the future. At level 2, you can use sculpt spells, and that creates pockets of relative safety within the effects of your evocation spells. So, imagine your party members are also inside the group of a horde of enemies. They're in my line of fire ball. Cool. You guys take no damage, and everyone around you takes damage from my fireball. So, I think that is right there is a useful effect to just. Imagine they're all about to go down, and then Neil in the back comes and just blasts a fireball and kills everyone around you. Neil's my favorite wizard name at the moment. So. Yeah, Evocation Wizards.
Yeah, very tame name. Yeah, I like that though. The fact that wizards are essentially, that seems like the basis of what a wizard is. Someone who just comes in and destroys everything. But it's awesome that in this particular case, he won't do a lot of damage to the team. So it's like, yeah, we're all here together. Fireball. It's not, oh, everybody gets hurt for that reckless maneuver. No, it's, nope, you guys are safe. Like, that's a really cool feature. I really like that.
Like, wizards are already kind of like control casters and be like control the battlefield, but that gives you so many more options to be like, here are all the different ones. I'm going to play chess with everyone else.
Yeah, I think that wizards in general are. I think that they are, in my experience, they're more of an advanced class. You need to be able to kind of understand and manage your character a little bit better than other classes, because you have to, you're always looking and reading. You always have to buy spells, learning spells, and then understanding like what's what. And like you said, you're playing chess because your character is one of the smarter people in the party. And I think I think that it can be rewarding, and it also can humble you really quickly. Because like, even though Evocation Wizards are super powerful and they're one of my favorites, I'm intimidated to play them a lot of times because although wizards are smart, Rick is not very smart. So I feel like I would do it a disservice by playing it, especially with you guys. So.
Same. No.
There's definitely some responsibility when playing a wizard. I feel like a lot of people have expectations of wizards, and it's like, wow, you spent that turn doing nothing. You're supposed to be the big bad wizard. It's like, I feel that pressure too when playing like a really powerful class or something like that. It's like all eyes on me. It's like, I gotta do this amazing thing. One of my friends at another table also had a moment where she knocked it out of the park and turned the whole encounter almost around just with one turn. I think she used some of the meteor swarm, and it was like awesome.
Yeah, wizards. Oh my god, they just do so much when you have like someone who knows what they're doing. Again, I'm kind of like Rick, where I'm like,
yeah,
that's a lot.
Yeah, pretty.
But like, they're so much fun at the same time, and even when you don't 100% know what you're doing, you can still have those moments like she did, and they're always amazing.
Cool. Let's see your number 2, John.
So I'm gonna go with Monk, Way of the Astral Self. Imagine just fighting with your soul, and that's kind of their whole thing. Is you're projecting aspects of your soul. Like at level 3, you basically get the arms of your astral self. You can either have them like covering your own arms, or you have like forearms from Ben 10, where you have like this extra set of arms that it can just help obliterate someone else. You get visions of the astral self at level 6, where you can like summon a little bit more of yourself, and like you get astral sight, so you can see. It gives you basically devil sight. Wisdom of the spirit, so you get advantage on your wisdom and charisma throws, or at least some of them. You can directly communicate, like you freely can just speak into someone's mind. They're a ton of fun.
That's very cool.
Have so many different like little options that you can just do all these different things. Later you deflect energy, and you can use your reaction to not just like absorb elements, but kind of deflect them. Empower your arms so they like do even more damage. But then finally you get like this awakened self, so it's like your soul is just there fighting over you. And yeah, you summon your entire body, and you can either have it like directly over you, like slightly beside you.
That's super cool. I'm trying to think of a character from fiction that did something like that. The one thing that's coming to mind, and I don't think this is completely accurate, is the chairman from Hunter x Hunter, but that might not be it. I think there's a better option. I'm not sure.
No, that fight against Nidoro, or sorry, with Nidoro against
the chairman. Oh yeah,
the ant. Yeah, well, yeah. Where
I think I know
he's doing that because Nidoros the chairman.
Yeah. I was thinking of
that's his name, right?
What was the ant's name? I can't remember, but
Mirror.
Yeah. That ant, but yeah, like when he's going like up, that summons that self. That's just like all the hands all the time. That thing. Yeah.
Let's see.
But yeah, those things are fun. And I have. So he's been my backup character for our campaign. Has been a Way of Monk Astral Self since almost the beginning, just because they look like fun.
I think I've seen one of our friends, Cameron, play one. I believe, and I thought it was really cool.
I bet Cameron would play one
really
very,
cool.
very
I think
cool
they have
in general. That'd be interesting to see that.
Too. Oh yeah.
He goes hard when it comes to like creating a character.
Oh no, man! He sent me like a 17-page document of his backstory, and he told me it wasn't even done, and I'm like, oh my god! Like he makes a backstory. He makes a whole life.
Cameron's somebody that we want to have on this show and talk to him about all things D&D with his whole life. So look forward to that.
Yeah, his experience with D&D would be a great story.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, he's been playing for a long time. He's great.
Cool. What's your number 2, Max?
All right. Number 2 is a close one to my heart. It may not be the most powerful class, but it has a lot of cool features. But I really like it because it ended up leading to me creating to one of my favorite PCs, and Rick's ultimate nightmare. Is the Arcane Trickster subclass. So the Arcane Trickster subclass comes with some pretty, normal features. You can use your mage hand to distract an opponent, give you an advantage on an attack. So you could use sneak attack. You can later on higher levels steal a person's spell. So if a wizard or anybody casts a spell, you can, like a counterspell, can take that spell and hold it. And I think you learn that spell, and when you learn that spell, you can use it on your enemies later. But then you kind of like forget it. It's not like you keep it. And then the other person can't cast that spell again until 8 hours have passed, or I think until you've used it. That's the only one. I only got to that level and then had to move away from that PC, unfortunately. But one of the cool things I like about it's a rogue that can cast spells. It's a rogue.
Yeah.
She can cast spells that are very helpful for stealth, for battles, like mirror image, so that there's like duplicates of yourself. It's like using Shadow Clone Jutsu. You have multiples of you, and the enemy doesn't know which one's the real one. And at different levels, you can choose a spell from any spell class. So I can have an Arcane Trickster at level 12 casting a fireball, because when I say she, I mean L2R, of course, my PC, can use these spells from a wizard subclass, a wizard class. So it's really cool to see like a rogue being able to be very stealthy and cunning and tricky, but also being potentially very dangerous with spells as well. Definitely, and it's just one of my favorite classes to play, and one of the favorite subclasses, just because it allows you to delve into martial and spell casting, and that makes it fun for me because I like that little blend of both. So yeah, Arcane Trickster definitely takes the number 2 spot.
Also, like the utility that when you brought that character into the campaign, like you shifted things so positively with some of that. Like, I know. So again, with like the role play and us making you two hating each other was a ton of fun. But like, Elle was
no, she was great. I will say Arcane Trickster is a great class. Very versatile. Lots of things you can do. His character L2R, or L as we called her, was very useful to the party. But with role playing, it kind of snowballed until we absolutely hated each other. And I was very glad to leave her behind on a nice, super important mission when we revived Max's original character. I was so happy to revive that character just to get away from L2R. So maybe I'm sure we'll eventually tell you guys the story of our campaign and how that came to be, but for now, just know that L2R sucked.
Yeah.
She was very useful, very powerful, but she was terrible.
Oh, she committed great amounts of murder. It was fantastic. And the roleplay
not by choice. That was not by choice. That was all self-defense.
I don't know how many air quotes we can put around self-defense with L2R, because she would start fights with her mouth.
Yep, that's true.
Nah,
okay.
Yeah.
I mean, essentially, she's better than
the moment everybody has been waiting for. Our number 1 spots. I'm going with Gloomstalker Ranger. No surprise there to you guys. That's what I play in our current campaign. It was actually the first character I've ever made for D&D, and I had help from Max creating this character and kind of understanding the game. So this is how I learned the game, and I feel like I've created just a force to be reckoned with my PC blood. So I mean, they're fun to role play, and what's really cool and what I find very, very, very useful. Like there's some classes and some classes they have these features that like, oh, occasionally you can use it. Occasionally you have something, but with the Gloomstalker Ranger, on every turn, if you miss, you can re-roll to try to hit. And so like I'm usually hitting my shots every single time, boom, boom, boom. But if I ever happen to miss, boom, I'm going to turn that miss into a hit. So I'm never missing.
Yeah.
You know, I think that you have incredible action economy. I mean, I'm attacking 3 times every single turn if I'm not moving, and then 2 if I am moving. And then at 3rd level, you gain access to Gloomstalker magic. So you get things like greater invisibility, disguise self, and you also get rope trick. Rope trick is a spell that I've had on my PC ever since I got access to it, and I've been looking for useful ways to use it. There's been like we've kind of used it in the past, but like I feel like there's the one time I'll be able to use it, and everyone's gonna just clap and cheer for me. I'm waiting, but rope trick. If you've got a good use for rope trick, please let us know in the comments.
Definitely let us know. But like, you also did make really good use of that when we were trying to rescue the kids from hell.
Oh yeah, yeah. They were
storing them in there for a little while and trying to sneak them around. Like, you did really good.
Only because like no matter what situation we're ever in, I want you to know that in the back of my head, I'm thinking, how can I use rope trick here?
Rope trick.
Yeah.
And did you remember the one time you used it to hide, and then you got force caged inside of it, so you couldn't escape?
Only because we were so stupid with the boss, because we didn't anticipate something. And the boss is just like.
And there was the one time where we hid inside of that pocket dimension, and the guards came and looked for us in the house. They couldn't find us, and so they just set the house on fire. And we were gonna fall out into a burning house, so we had to jump out immediately anyway. But regardless, Gloomstalker Ranger, super powerful, super fun to play. Definitely recommend it. Yeah.
Like, that you do an amazing Gloomstalker, and I love almost everything.
Thanks.
You do.
I love that. You're gonna make my head big. We got to move on. John, what's your number 2?
It's already big.
I mean, you're number 1. You're number 1.
So number one. Can you count? Is the Ranger coming back into you, so you're getting numbers again? No. So my number 1 is Hexblade Warlocks. Just something about a magic caster who's really powerful, but also has a badass sword. Like, they're just so much fun. Like, the only real like straight class that you get that is like, I think Bladesinger with wizards, but like Warlocks just do it better in my opinion. Like, it's so much fun. You have so many different options. Like, it gives you like everything is right there. You have like your weapon is your pact, so like you can do that. You can become proficient with literally any weapon once you unlock some of that. You get your Hexblade Curse. You can get a basically free hex that's still way better, and if they die, you get your health back, or you get some health back. You have Hex Warrior, so you get like proficiency with armors and shields and weapons, and Curse Spectre. You can raise the dead, force them to fight with you. Again, another raise the dead one, which I didn't think about. You get your armor of hexes at level 10. Apparently. Didn't realize that. But yeah, armor of hexes, and you can just be like, someone hits you and they get like a nat 20, and you're going to be like, wait 1 second, you roll a d6, and you're like, no. It's just, they're so much fun. And like their capstone for the subcast, like at Master of Hexes, like you can move your like Hexblade Curse, which is fun, but like I don't think it's like the best one. There are so many other fun things about Hexblades than that, but like they're great. I love them. They make me happy.
Yeah. And yeah, they have a lot of cool features too, and I think you do a good job playing one as well, right? Because I believe Corvus is your guy.
Oh yeah,
your Hexblade.
Yeah, so he's Hexblade Paladin multi-class. Like, so many different fun things, so much great overlap between those. But, like, yeah, he started... I wanted to play a pure Hexblade the entire time through, but story things.
Yeah.
But, like...
I feel that.
Yeah, they're fun.
It's a good time. And then you can just add your charisma modifier to all your attacks.
Just in general, just
else.
without all the numbers and stats and the things you can do. Just, I mean, having a super powerful blade, just a cool weapon that is your pact. I mean, that is just so cool. Oh man, it's cool.
That is cool, yeah.
Yeah, it's just it's great. They're so much fun, and yeah, and you can do it so like your blade doesn't have to be the pact, but like your patron eventually like works it through, so you could, you can switch it to something else, but like. Yeah, it gives you so many options, especially if your blade is like talking to you and grumpy and angry. Kill your friends.
Yeah. It's like your intrusive thoughts. Kill your friends. Right. Kill your friends.
Yep.
Kill your friends. Raise them from the dead.
They're yours to demand.
Yeah, they'll be with you forever.
No, that's
what I would do.
Kill the entire time.
Yeah, that would have been Rick's goal the whole campaign. It's like, how can I convince my character to kill L2R of all?
He wouldn't need a lot of reasons for sure.
Yeah, you just get a slight suggestion. You're like, okay.
It would be like a bad guy just saying, so listen, this might be hard for you, but I'm gonna need you to kill one of your party members. That one right there. And he goes, yeah, no problem. You don't worry about it.
Oh yeah.
I don't need.
Wait, I was already doing that anyway. Oh, cool. I'm glad we agree.
Yeah.
The boss is like, wait, I didn't even cast suggestion yet.
Yeah, it's just Rick pointing the arrow at the villain, and then it's like, yeah, no problem. Now just change direction.
It's like, oh, can I do that again? Because she's not dead yet. I need him to like.
Wait, so can your Hexblade Warlock be? Can they use a bow? Is it any weapon?
Yeah. Yeah, any weapon, anything you want. Like, it doesn't have to be a blade. Like, you can do multi-attack with it and everything else. You can get so many fun. Like, you have special some of those evocations even change that you get extra ones for being a hexblade.
That's very cool.
So many options.
That's very cool. If you guys didn't know, I'm very biased towards bows. I love bow and arrows. I think they're super fun, super cool. I remember even as a kid, I was just always, I didn't have a bow, but I pretended I had a bow. Anytime I can use a bow in D&D, I love it. So, noted. Got it.
You're making me want to pull out my bow.
Okay, Max, finish us up. Give us your number one spot.
Yes, the last but not least, because it's clearly the best one, and the one I currently play as well, the Rune Knight subclass for the fighter class. Pure martial, pure sword. I mean, it could be any weapon, but I choose sword because I'm biased towards swords. Basically, this Rune Knight this gives me the flavor of a character who has no magic, but somehow survives in a world of magic using like this pseudo kind of gear or runes that grant him like some magical features that help him in battle. So I really like that theme of it. So for example, one of the early runes you get is a fire rune, which like when you're fighting somebody, handcuffs appear on the enemy and can potentially restrain them and cause them damage. So it's like another cool ability. Another cool ability online is the cloud rune that can like if a character is being attacked, you can use that rune to reflect that attack to another enemy. And I think that's another cool feature. Then they have all these other features that can make you more durable, so like you can resist certain types of damage for a while. They can grant you some passive bonuses like dark vision. So it's like a lot of cool things in one. Then another cool thing is, again, when you're fighting, another great intimidation factor is you can turn into a giant. Mm-hmm. So if you're a medium-sized creature, you can go into a large creature. As you level up and get to higher classes, you can eventually become a huge creature. And you get additional damage when you're in this form. So it's like really cool for the fighter who does multi-attacks and does pure damage when fighting. And it's like, here you got this little extra bit. You have this ability to like roll at strength checks and probably saving throws with advantage. So it's like really focuses on what they're good at. Then another sweet thing for the party is the runic shield, where when somebody's in danger and let's say somebody rolls a nat 20 against you, I can make them re-roll it again. So negating that 20. So make them roll, maybe they roll less than number, maybe they still hit, but at least it's not a d20 and you're not getting double damage on your attack. So I really like this character because it gives me that survival feel of like you're watching a story of one of the characters. And yeah, he might not be the best archer, he might not be the best magician or anything like that, but he knows tricks that'll help him survive these encounters. Even if it's not a straight up fight, he has other means of defending himself. So I think it's a really cool subclass that is also not that hard to learn, especially if you start off. Fighters are very easy to learn. They're very simple. They come with a little additional stuff, but that additional stuff's all you really have to learn, versus where most classes have like a list of things you have to learn and then your subclass as well. Fighters are great for starting off a campaign if you're a beginner or don't know what to do. Like I started off with a fighter, mostly because I like swords and I really just wanted to build them around a sword build. But I think it's a great class that's just very simple to learn and lets you roleplay a little bit more and lets you support your party members without being stuck in a role of just pure support. Because most of my support comes as reactions, like, "Oh, you're in trouble?
Yeah,
boom,
yeah.
I got you."
Yeah, the Rune Knight's super cool, and it's you have proven that it is very useful for us as a party. One of the cooler things that I've seen you do is just enlarge and get super big and pass a strength check or just deal incredible damage. But I want you to know that the way I picture it is, do you guys remember that show Jackie Chan Adventures? Remember that, where they were all after those talismans? I picture you have like talisman type things all over your arms, and they're all connected by like blue energy, and then you can like tap into one of those talismans to this might be stupid, but that's how I pictured in my head, is like you're tapping into different runes to do different things.
Yeah, no, that's exactly the thing. It's the same thing. Yeah. It's like it has to go on armor, so it's like when he's gonna use this thing, he'll like touch it real quick and activate it. Yeah. Or when it's his sword, because the sword touches the person, it activates on impact, So it's like, that's a good comparison. I like the idea of like, there's these things that without them, he doesn't get the ability. I think minus the giant enlargement, I think that's like more of an innate, like something that he can do. Yeah. But it's still very good.
Like you're just giant and you're huge and like you're like, look at the big bad, and you're like, I'm gonna wrestle God and just grapple them.
Yeah, that was another thing too, because we could also cast an enlarge spell and turn my character gigantic. I forget what it's called. It's the one right above huge. So essentially, that could be like the size of a building. And I thought about that. And I was like, that's so cool. Just imagine being so gigantic, you just step on the little enemies. It's like, oh yeah, I'm not even gonna bother fighting, stepping on you. The end.
It's like you take on a Trask, and it's just you, like fully there, and like it's Godzilla.
Well, I do like the
idea.
It was cool because I think we got ambushed recently by Lich, a bunch of Lich, and they're like, I think there were like 2 or 3 next to me, and I just like the idea of. They snuck up on me. There's like this normal guy. They tried to disintegrate me, and I dodged it. And then I turn around and just looking over them. I was like, "So you have something to say?" And it's just like ready to just.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, so those are our top 5 subclasses. Let us know if you agree, if you disagree, or let us know your top 5 in the comments below. Soon we're going to be doing our least favorite subclasses, so look out for that. In the meantime, we will catch